guys, today's a very exciting day because we're doing another 24-hour readathon. Last time I attempted a 24-hour readathon was about 2 months ago in the fall. It was so much fun. I got so much reading done. It helped me get ahead on my reading goals. So I figured today it would be really fun to start another one and see how much stuff I can get done. Since this was kind of impulsive, I do have things planned out for today, so I'm currently on a drive. But don't you worry, I'm prepared because I have a bunch of audiobooks downloaded on Libby and like Spotify and all of that. So I'm gonna choose something from there so we can listen to it on the way. Since my boyfriend is the one driving, I want it to be something that he's also gonna enjoy. So I'm probably gonna steer clear from all my romances and all of that and maybe listen to like a little mystery thriller because I feel like that would be really enjoyable for both of us to listen to at the same time. Throw out theories and everything like that. Some of the novellas that I saw were between like an hour and 3 hours long. So between the drive of us going to our destination and coming back, we should be able to finish a whole book. So I'm really excited. Obviously I'm gonna bring you with and vlog the entire day. So strap in, grab a bevy, grab a snack, and let's get to reading. First up, before any road trip, before any kind of long drive, we gotta go and pick up some coffee. So I think we're gonna go to Dunkin' and get a little drink. Officially finished with book 1 of this challenge. Officially finished listening to the audiobook. We'll talk more about that later. Right now we stopped along the way to this really cute massive Barnes & Noble, so I'm gonna go inside, maybe do a little bit of reading. I have my Kindle. I bring this thing with me everywhere, so I want to just like sit down, chill out, go look at some pretty books, and literally just like find a cozy spot and maybe do a little bit of reading if possible. I figured it would be really fun to kind of switch up locations a little bit because reading for 24 hours is difficult because it can be pretty tiring, especially if you stay at home or if you stay at one location. So I'm trying to give myself my best chance of successfully completing the challenge, and that is by just switching up locations, going to a bunch of different spots. So we're gonna go to Barnes & Noble. I might look around through some of the books, maybe get inspired for books that I want to read during this challenge. And I think there's gonna be a whole Barnes & Noble vlog. It's either posted right now already or it's gonna be posted soon after that. So keep an eye out for that for all like the details of the trip, but let's go do some reading. This is the cutest little reading spot right outside of Barnes. But look at the trees, they're so pretty.
She was 17 with a dream of finding love again. Put her heart in the arms of someone new. He took advantage of her life, but it wasn't enough for him. So he went and left her in the dark without a clue. Oh, 18 and her life is on the line again. She's popping pills with her friends and sneaking out. She knows that she's wasting all the time without. She can't picture him not being around. She said, so why can't we feel something different? We just need to close the distance. Bring me close to you. Don't let go, don't let go. And I hate finding new beginnings. Let's just make toxic commitments. I'm not over you. I can't let go, I can't let go. I was 17 with a dream of finding love again. Out and I need somebody new. And I can't believe you're in love with me. Oh, lucky me, I got you right where I wanted to.
Well, hello, I'm back home and I figured it would be a really good time for a little update because even though I have been reading a bunch, I feel like I haven't done a lot of like actively talking and vlogging and explaining the progress. We are currently at just under 20 hours left, which somehow seems like a really long time considering I've been consuming book content literally all morning. However, I have been stopping the timer every time I take a break from reading, which I guess means that I've only been reading for about 4 hours so far today. As I mentioned earlier, I started with an audiobook because my boyfriend and I had made plans to take a little road trip. We had to handle some stuff, and so we needed a little form of entertainment, so I figured it was a good time to get some of my reading done. So to start us off, we started by listening to the audiobook for The Gift. I figured this would be a really good option just because it's a short little novella. It's a Freida McFadden book, so I was expecting it to be like very thrilling and twisty, and I figured that would be a really fun one to just kind of listen to together and like discuss our theories and figure out what we think the plot twist is gonna be and everything like that. And we listened to it. I'm not gonna lie, I did not enjoy the book very much. Obviously, we all know it's harder to write a good story when it's a novella just because you don't really get attached to the characters and you don't really have as much time to like set things up, so it had to be a little bit more on the speedy side. But I just did not really enjoy this novella. I am a big Freida McFadden fan. I've read most of her books and I read one every time I'm like doing like readathons and everything like that, so I was a little bit disappointed because usually they're very thrilling, very captivating right from the start, but this one I felt like it was like a little bit repetitive. I felt like there was a lot of build up towards something, but then when the big reveal was revealed, it just wasn't that satisfying in the way that some of her other books are. So there's that. The epilogue, as usual, it did have its own little twist in it, which is true for, I want to say, like 90% of the Freida McFadden books that I have read. Overall, it wasn't as good as I was expecting, but we did end up listening to it and being entertained for the whole drive, and we did end up enjoying talking about how much we didn't like where the story was going. So I guess bonus points for that, but I think this is gonna be my lowest rated Freida McFadden book. I want to give this like 2 stars or something like that. I don't know, maybe I'll sit on it. Then after that, as you saw, I stopped at a Barnes & Noble. I had to. It was this really massive location, and then after Barnes & Noble, I sat outside. There was like this cute little seating area and the weather was beautiful, so I just sat and finished the book that I was reading, which is Lights Out. I started reading the book during a reading challenge video that I posted recently, which was how much can I read on my flight to Miami, and I have been slowly chipping away at it for the last couple of days, but I finally got to the end and finished it today, and that book was just like very shocking. It was very interesting. If you don't know, Lights Out is basically a stalker dark romantic comedy. So it's about the romantic story of a stalker and a nurse, and your first thought might be, what the heck, I'm not reading that, that is so weird, or that might seem like too dark of like a concept. And I don't normally read dark romances, but I did enjoy it. It's written like very lighthearted, very fluffy, very like rom-com-y, and the stalker, even though he's a stalker, does have a lot of like redeemable qualities and like good intentions. He was like a pretty likable character, so I did enjoy their romance. There was so much going on in that book. It's a long book, it's over 500 pages. It was entertaining in a what did I just read type of way. Very similar vibes to Butcher and Blackbird, so if you enjoyed that, you will probably enjoy this. I would even say that it's better than Butcher and Blackbird, because I rated Butcher and Blackbird like I think 3 or 3.5 stars or something like that. This one I think I'm gonna end up rating somewhere around 4 stars. It's such a like cool, interesting topic, and it doesn't really follow the exact same tropes as every other romance, and it was very entertaining, so I do recommend. But yeah, obviously make sure to read the trigger warnings because there's a lot to unpack there. I'm not gonna get into it right now, but be warned. So after doing my shopping and finishing that book, we started heading back from where we were this morning. And for the way back, I went through Spotify and I was trying to find a good audiobook to listen to, because unfortunately for me, I'm not able to read in a moving vehicle. I just get so motion sick. I need to get those glasses that have the little liquid and it moves around and helps you from getting motion sickness, but I literally could not do it. Comment down below if you also have motion sickness when you are in a car, or if you're able to read, because I am forever jealous of all the people that can read while they're on a long drive. I wish that was me, but unfortunately I just don't have that in my DNA. So I randomly picked a new audiobook to start listening to, and that audiobook is Lock Every Door. This is a very popular book by Riley Sager. Riley Sager is like a very well-known thriller slash mystery, I think, sort of author. And I've only read The House Across the Lake from him, and I enjoyed it quite a bit up until the plot twist. The plot twist I don't know how much I liked it. I have heard really good things about Lock Every Door, so I decided to give it a chance, and I started listening to the audiobook, and so far it's pretty interesting. It's honestly kind of slow moving. I hope that it picks up a little bit more, because this is a really long audiobook, and I don't like when thrillers and mysteries have so much like fluff and like filler words, you know what I mean? Like I like my thrillers and mysteries to be very plot driven, things going on all the time, and little plot twists, or like where you're always being revealed little bits of information. With this book, at this point, I don't even know what the actual premise of the book is. I didn't bother reading like the description or anything, because I figured it would like reveal itself at some point. But we just follow the story of our girl main character. There's like a past and present timeline, and in the past timeline, this is like in the very first chapter, you find out that she has just been hit by a car and she's in the hospital, and she's talking to the doctors trying to figure out where she is and what happened, and they basically say that they're right outside of this apartment complex. So then we go back in the past timeline, which I think is only like 6 days in the past or something like that, so it's not like an entirely different timeline. It's like very recent, I think, which is the day that she applies to move into this apartment. So I don't really know exactly what's gonna go down, but she mentioned in the first chapter that she does not want to go back to the apartment, so obviously something scary, something sus is about to go down. We've met a lot of side characters already. I don't know who I can trust, who I cannot trust. Everyone that lives in this building is like super rich or famous. Some of them are like really famous, some of them are just like inherited sort of like wealth, but everyone that lives there, I just don't trust them. Some of them are also like super incredibly rude, and I'm like, what is going on? So we're gonna see what happens, because she's set to be at this place for 3 months, basically just like house sitting for some like rich person and getting paid to do it. And obviously, as you would expect from a thriller, she's like financially struggling. She can't make rent or do anything like that, so she's like forced to stay there. And then her like real life best friend is like, hey, like that's so sus, and our main character is just like, no, it's fine, like you're over exaggerating. But to this point, I still don't know like what the threat is. Like, is it gonna be like a serial killer situation? Is it gonna be like a kidnapped girl situation? Is it gonna be paranormal? Like, I don't know. So hopefully we'll figure that out very soon, because I've been listening for a while and a lot of that has not been revealed. So I hope that it picks up very soon. I'm gonna probably end up getting this book on my Kindle, because I think eventually I'm gonna run out of Spotify hours. So we'll do a little bit of reading on there.
Mamacita, vámonos de fiesta. Y ahora en mi corazón tú estás, y ya no quiero a nadie más. Contigo que quiero pasarla. Mamacita, vámonos de fiesta. Desde que te vi.
Good morning, guys. It is the next day. I paused the timer late last night because I was so freaking sleepy. I finished reading / listening to Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. It was my second time reading one of his books. Last one I read was The House Across the Lake, and I enjoyed that one, like the build up for it, but didn't quite love the plot twist. So I was kind of nervous about how this plot twist was gonna go, because I've heard that Riley Sager just like pulls the most like random plot twists out of like thin air that don't necessarily like always go with the story, and that's how I felt about The House Across the Lake. But this one, it actually kind of made sense. It seemed realistic. I wish our main character had a couple more brain cells working together and some critical thinking skills, but obviously that's never the case for any main character of a thriller book. But it was really enjoyable. It was a pretty long book, and the first like 40% was a little like slow. Eventually I did enjoy it. I think I gave that one like maybe 3.75 stars. It's not like anything crazy, it's not like life-changing, but it was a pretty good thriller. So now I'm up and I'm refreshed and I'm ready to read Better Than the Movies. This book has been recommended by literally every single person on this planet. Everybody has read this, everybody and their mom has read this, everybody loves this, and this is one of those books that I just like anticipate is gonna be a 5-star read. It is a YA romance, which I typically kind of try to stay away from because I'm getting to an age where like YA romances are not really hitting, but I've heard that this is like just like such a sweet story, and it's very rom-com-y, and apparently references rom-com room. So I feel like this is like just like such a fun little read, especially to follow up the thriller that I just finished reading. So I'm very excited. This is also kind of different than any other book that I've read in this video, because the first one was like a thriller short story, and I finished like a darker romance that I was reading, which was Lights Out, and then I went into another super long thriller. So this is gonna be a nice little palette cleanser. I am so excited for it. I feel like I'm in the perfect mood for it. I picked out my little bookmark and tabs because I feel like this is definitely gonna be one of those books that's gonna get underlined, it's gonna get tabbed up, and it's just gonna be looking very loved by the end of it. So I'm very excited to finally be getting to this. So I have officially started reading Better Than the Movies. I am obsessed with this book, even though it's giving YA vibes. And I always talk about how I don't really read a lot of YA romances. This one is building up like a really good setup for it to be a really sweet and like soul kind of touching story, and I am so excited. I love our main characters, love the history that they have together because they've been friends and neighbors since they were little, and they have all that history of them growing up together. In case you don't know, this book follows the story of Liz, who is a girl that's in high school, and she grew up being really close friends slash neighbors with these two guys. One is Wes and one is Michael, and Michael has always been her crush ever since she was little, and then he moved away, but now he's finally back to her school, and she really wants Michael to notice her and like realize that she's like not this little kid that he remembers her as when they were growing up together, but that she's actually like evolved and her personality has changed and that she's cool and attractive now. So her and Wes is another kid that lived on their block that they were also kind of growing up with and always like pulling pranks on each other, and like they just like grew up having those like kid kind of like friendships growing up together, and the two of them are always kind of like teasing each other and pranking each other and trying to steal each other's parking spots and everything like that. But she goes up to Wes and she asks him to basically help her get Michael to notice her, and they come up with this plan to basically pretend like Wes is really into Liz and he's gonna be talking to Michael about it, mentioning all the things that he likes about her, all her likable qualities and everything like that, in hopes that Michael will finally change his perception of Liz and finally see that she's all grown up and mature and that she's like a good romantic interest for him to consider. So it is really sweet. I am obsessed with Wes's character. I think he's like such a sweetheart, even though he comes off kind of rough and he's always like pranking her and teasing her. It's always like super lighthearted stuff, and he hasn't done anything that's like actually mean or actually like hurtful. It's just like kind of like harmless like pranks and stuff like that. I'm actually loving the friendship that they're building together in order to get Michael to notice her. They're spending so much time together, and I just think this is gonna be a really sweet read. With that being said, it's time to officially go outside. I have some shopping that I need to do, so I'm gonna be getting out of the house. This book is available on Spotify, so I'm gonna listen to it on the whole drive there because it's quite a long drive, and then also on the drive back, and I'll be back with more updates and thoughts later. But I'm really enjoying this so far. Hello, hello. It is a little while later. I have been listening to most of this book on an audiobook, but right now I'm actually at some random golf course, golf range. I don't know what it's called. My boyfriend is here golfing, so I'm just gonna chill, read my book, and kind of hang out. It is so peaceful. It's literally like 7 p.m. even though it looks very dark. I have just under 6 hours left on the timer, so we're still going with the challenge. I'm gonna try to get through a big chunk of this book. It's just over 100 pages in, so it's like a good chunk. I'm gonna try to see how much I can get through while we're here, and then I'm gonna continue reading when I get home, of course. Hopefully finish this tonight before the timer stops, but it's getting to the time of the day where I feel like I'm starting to read kind of slow just because I'm getting tired from non-stop consuming stories for the last however many hours it's been. But this is a very chill vibe. I can't even see it. That was so far. It disappeared into the night. Hello, jump scare. I'm brunette now. I feel like this is my first time acknowledging it on this channel, but I decided to go back to my natural hair color because I've just been getting blonde highlights like back to back to back for 2.5 years, and the entire top of my head was blonde, as you can literally tell from the last clips. But I realized that I never gave a final review, a final rating of Better Than Movies, and I absolutely need to because that book was so good to the point where like it shocked me how good it was. And I'm sure this sounds really weird because everybody and their mom loves the book, everybody raves about it, everybody mentions it in like the list of their top 5 books they've ever read, and it's always featured on TikToks about like just like sweet and like kind of like wholesome books. But I did not expect it to be as good as it was because it's a YA like high school kind of romance, and I'm getting to an age where I feel like I'm kind of outgrowing the high school romances. Like I just have kind of like hard times identifying with the main characters because I've just like outgrown that kind of like part of my life, if that makes sense. But this book was just so sweet, so wholesome. Absolutely ate it up, devoured it, as you saw. I had such a good time reading it and learning about Liz and Wes and like their history together, being childhood friends and pulling pranks on each other, and their relationship developing from just somebody that they've known their entire childhood and pulling pranks on each other and just poking fun at each other and just doing all those things that kind of remind me of what it was like to be a kid and to have those kinds of friendships, to eventually throughout the book developing into their friendship now as like near adults when their personalities have changed and their priorities have changed. Like getting to know each other through different parts of life is just like so magical, and I loved it so much. Oh my god, I'm like crying. It's literally not that deep. I'm just a Cancer horoscope and just cry over everything. Yeah, I absolutely love this book. I think I rated it probably like 4.5 stars. I just like absolutely love sweet stories that are like this. I absolutely love how everything progressed, and everything about this just felt like a rom-com. The rom-com references at the beginning of every chapter, ate those up. Absolutely loved it. The rom-com references that were like actually mentioned in the book, I loved it. The fact that there was like depth talking about Liz's mom and their relationship and now her stepmom, just like how all of those things and all those experiences that you go through kind of like shape you and change how you perceive things. Also her relationship with the girl best friend and just kind of seeing how that relationship kind of changed throughout the book. And it's pretty telling of how things are when you're in high school and when you are at that part of life where everyone around you is just growing into the person that they're kind of meant to be. And sometimes it means that people grow apart, sometimes it means that your opinions change on things that you've been so sure about your entire life, and sometimes you grow apart from people and sometimes you go close to them. So I absolutely loved this book on like every single level. I do think that I'm curious about possibly reading book 2, but I've also heard not very good things about book 2, and I've heard that it just kind of tarnishes the character's kind of like personality. Kind of conflicted on if I want to continue on with the series or if I just want to leave it at that. Like, it feels like it concluded really nicely with like a nice little bow tied around it, so it's like, do I want to go and kind of mess that up by opening up the story again and potentially ruining my perception of these characters for like a mid story? Like, I don't know, is it worth it? If you guys read the sequel Better Than the Movies, which is nothing like the movies, let me know if you think I should read it, if you think I shouldn't read it, or if you have any book suggestions that kind of feel the same way, just like the soulmate kind of feeling, the wholesome romantic love. Let a girl know, because I always eat those up. But with that, I think that brings us to the end of our 24-hour readathon. I am shocked with how many books I read, but it's honestly because a lot of them I was either halfway through them or they were pretty short. So we started off with the Freida McFadden novella, and that one was kind of disappointing because Freida McFadden usually like eats, so I thought for the situation I was in, to just like road trip with my boyfriend, I thought it would be really fun to listen to a short story together, but it was not very good. I don't recommend it, which kind of shocking, honestly. I wasn't expecting it to be the best book I've ever read, but I also didn't expect it to be as bad as it was. So we're just gonna pretend that never happened. And then I finished Lights Out. That one was like really good. It actually caught me off guard because, like, what do you mean I'm eating up a soccer romance? Like, I don't think so. I don't think so. It does not sound like me, but it was just like so cute, so rom-com-y, so like funny and lighthearted. And even though it's like obviously like a heavier topic, and the trigger warnings are obviously heavier topics, they just like the way that it was phrased, it just had like lighthearted and like fun undertone. So it didn't feel sad, it didn't feel heavy, or any of the things that you would expect after reading the 2 pages of trigger warnings at the beginning. I definitely recommend you give that a chance, especially right now, because that book is literally set at the end of January, beginning of February or something like that. So it's like literally the perfect time to read it. So make sure you add that to your TBR. For the 3rd book of this challenge, I gave Riley Sager another chance because the first book that I read by him, as I mentioned, I didn't love, but this one was a lot better. I think I initially gave it 3.75 stars, but now it's been a while, and I honestly have like thought about it and remember the plot and everything for it pretty well, like way more than I thought after finishing it immediately. So I think I want to change my rating to maybe 4 stars because it honestly just feels like 3.75 is too low of a rating. It's a really good thriller and it definitely caught me off guard. I just thought at the beginning like 30% was like too much setup and not enough plot. Like, I just wanted it to get to the point. So it's a little bit slow, but it gets better, and I really like the ending. And then Better Than the Movies we already talked about, so that brings us to the end of this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and comment down below your current read because it helps my channel grow. And while we're on that topic, I just want to say massive thank you for all the love on my recent videos that you guys popped off on my last video, absolutely eating it up, absolutely loving it, and leaving so many comments and likes and everything like that, and I just appreciate it. I love seeing our little bookish community grow. I love that I get a platform to just like sit here and yap about books, so thank you for allowing me to do that by watching my videos and liking and commenting and all that good stuff. So yeah, massive thank you for that, and I'm very excited for all the content that is to come in this year. I think I'm gonna try to commit to possibly maybe doing an upload schedule. I want to try to upload every single Friday, and if not Friday then Saturday. So just keep it out. Every single weekend there's gonna be a video for me, and then on certain weeks when I'm able to get my main videos done, if I have other videos that I feel like filming, I'm gonna be posting those throughout the week. So just turn on the post notice and keep an eye out because there's lots of good content coming soon. I just spent the last like week just getting my life together, reorganizing, planning content and all that, and I'm very excited. So that being said, follow my socials. I have my main Instagram where I post updates about my life and things that I'm doing and everything like that. I have a bookish Instagram, I have a bookish TikTok and a main TikTok. Everything is linked down below. And I'm also going to be posting once a week on my main channel, which is my vlog channel, just like doing daily things and my daily routines and my travels and all that fun stuff. So if you want to see more from me, vlog channel, always linked below. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye! If you made it to the end, comment, wow, the coffee looks so good, so that I know.